Greetings fellow word lovers, Heavy Metal Bookworm here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Exit Ghost by Philip Roth. Now, if you don't know who Philip Roth is, well, shame on you. Philip Roth is the final word in Jewish American literary fiction. I realise that's quite a niche market, but if you are in the mood for some Jewish American literary fiction, Roth is your go-to man. He has basically been on the top of his game since Portnoy's Complaint, which was published, I believe, in 1967? 1967. So, Exit Ghost, published in 2007, is the ninth and I believe final book in the Nathan Zuckerman series. In this one, we follow Zuckerman as he returns to New York after living in New England for 11 years. He returns to find basically the climate has changed socially, economically and politically. He's also aging slightly, which is evidenced from the the opening chapters of the book, in which he undergoes post-cancer surgery in order to combat his incontinence. Now, if you're already familiar with Philip Roth and you haven't read this and you heard the word incontinence, you're probably thinking this is going to be set up for some sort of gross or rather base joke. But I'll hold that thought for a second. When Zuckerman returns, he happens upon Amy Ballette, a woman he encountered in the 50s, who became romantically involved with a guy called E.I. Lonoff. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. E.I. Lonoff, who is Zuckerman's literary hero. So already we've got a connection going on there. While he's trying to establish a reconnection with Amy, he happens upon a young writer couple by the name of Billy and Jamie. He then embarks on this idea to swap homes with them. So he lives in their sort of New York Central apartment, and they go live in his New England shack out in the the outback, somewhere in the forest. But to complicate things even more, through David and Jamie, he encounters Richard Kleiman, who is what can only describe as a tenacious young journalist who is seeking to write a biography of E.I. Lonoff, which Zuckerman and various other characters are concerned will unveil certain dark secrets about this writer who has long since passed. So you've got all these kind of interconnecting people. So Zuckerman, he's kind of like stuck in this new paradigm. I hate using the word paradigm, it sounds pretentious, but I can't think of any other way to describe it, in which he not only is seeking to sort of reintegrate himself back into the city after living out in the outbacks for almost, over a decade, but he's trying to stop this Richard Kleiman from basically ruining the reputation of his literary hero. And to complicate things even more, he actually begins to fall in love with David's wife Jamie. Now, as Roth novels go, this one is really good. Everybody will always talk about Portnoy's Complaint as being the sort of bar he set for himself, really, in terms of establishing himself as a literary giant. If you're looking for something that's kind of what you'd expect to find in Roth, you're probably not going to find it in Exit Ghost. This is a great novel, but I actually think it's more a work of philosophy, existentialism, I think, because it relates to an old writer similar to Roth, who would have been in his 60s when this book was released. I believe Zuckerman is 72 or 73 in this book, so it kind of reflects on, believe it reflects on Roth's own experiences with sort of an ever-changing world. Essentially, it's about control, or more specifically, it's about the lack of control. In Exit Ghost, Zuckerman is struggling to control an ever-changing environment. He's having to come to terms with the fact that the writers of old, E.I. Lonoff, who has passed, and himself, Zuckerman, are having to make way for the writers and artists of the future, in this case, David and Jamie. Don't forget character names, Andy. That's bad. So he can't control the ever-changing environment. He can't control his feelings for Jamie. He has no control over his bodily function, as is evidenced in his incontinence, which sounds comical, but it's actually more of a sad realisation of his own ageing, I feel. So he can't control his own bodily functions, he can't control his emotions, he can't control the environment, he can't control Richard Kleinman, the journalist, because despite him protesting, Richard Kleinman is going to write this biography with or without his help. So he can't control him, he can't control the new wave of writing, of art and entertainment that's coming forth. It's also set in 2004, just before the American election, general election. Did they call it general election? We'll call it that. In which George Bush gets re-elected into office. And while he sort of muses sort of apathetically about it, where there is still that sense of he can't actually change anything, he has no power to change anything, the world around him is changing economically, socially and politically. And I think that's what it's ultimately about, and I think this is Philip Roth kind of realising that one day his time will be up. I know that sounds really a bit morbid, as it were, but I think there's a lot of Philip Roth reflected. In fact, I think I'm not the first person to actually say that. I haven't done any sort of thorough research into the Zuckerman series, but I do get the impression that Zuckerman is supposed to be representative of Roth himself. So, Exit Ghost. It's a great book, actually. It's got the kind of style you would expect from Philip Roth, the kind of writing pace, the kind of writing you come to expect from a Philip Roth novel, in that he can turn any kind of sentence and make it sound, well, give it a flourish, as it were. He can make it sound quite elegant, even some of those depraved scenes in Portnoy's Complaint. So that's what I think anyway. As I said, it's the last in the Zuckerman series. I'm going to go out and check out some of the other ones. There's one called Ghostwriter, I believe, which I think is a prequel to this, or don't quote me on that. Oh yeah, the title, Exit Ghost. If you are wondering, apparently Philip Roth lifted it directly from Macbeth. It's something to do in the script with a scene which involves a ghost, and then it says Exit Ghost. And then he lifted it from that. He said he just took that and used that as the title. It could also refer to one of his other books in this series, Ghostwriter, Exit Ghost. So I'm wondering whether, intentionally or not, he's actually saying that Ghostwriter, or the writer in this book, is about to make an exit. So he's about to move on and make way for new writers. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I think. Anyway, that's all for me. I've rambled enough. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you have any reading suggestions, love to hear them. But stay metal, my friends. Ta-ra.